This is the Groom Theory Way Podcast with your host, Haven Hobbs. It's time to show you the Groom Theory Way. It's time to start the show.
Yo, what's good, y'all? My name is Haven. This is the first episode of the podcast. We just out here just flowing, just rolling in God's purpose. I'm a firm believer that if you want to start something, just do it, you know? And so I'm so excited because this is something I always wanted to do. I started before with someone, didn't work out because of editing purposes, but I just want to tell you guys how I got here. I got a shout out to my man Joey. Me and Joey have been following each other for the last couple of years, and literally I posted a quote of a famous trainer who trained Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and he DM'd me on my Instagram and saying, yeah, that's one of my clients, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, what do you do exactly? And he literally told me what he did, and he sent me a video of everything that he does when it comes to social media, and I was just blown away. I told him I'm kind of interested in creating a podcast, man, but I don't know where to start. And he was like, man, just how about this, man? I'm gonna shoot you on my podcast. We just chop it up afterwards, man. See if this is something that you want to do. I like, for sure, you know. So I came in here about a month ago, and we chopped it up, man. It was a great vibe. I love the environment. I love everyone he worked with. I just felt like this was home. So I was going to say a shout out to Joey for really getting me going on this, something I always wanted to do. So with this podcast, the first person I thought about who I want to, bring on the show and definitely co-host, my sis Jewell, man. She came in my life about 9+ years ago, barely legal, just to watch her grow over the years, from a stylist to a barber to an entrepreneur to a mother. It's been amazing. And so I had to bring her on, and I'm blessed to have her on. So shout out to you, Joe. Appreciate you for joining.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? First of many. Before we start, just tell everybody about yourself, currently what you're doing now, just so everybody know who you are.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jewell, and I am a barber at Groom Theory, actually the manager. Mm-hmm. That's my baby. That shop is actually mine. Sure. Yeah, so I manage Groom Theory. And yeah, I took 2 years off, but now I'm back. And I'm just, what they say, standing on business right now.
I know, standing So I want to start from the beginning, right? I really want to know, how did you get started? I know you started as a stylist first. So what made you, or did you have a mentor? What made you get started into the hair industry?
So when I was a little girl, one of my mom's friends, we lived together, and she did hair. Like, I remember being a little girl, and I just used to watch her do hair all day. She was really cold. Mm-hmm. And so when we lived together, she eventually turned our basement into a full-blown salon. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the shampoo bowls, the station, and I used to stay home with her when my mom used to go to work, and I used to watch her do hair all day. Mm-hmm. And so I just used to watch her do hair all day, and then from having a salon in our basement, she ended up opening up a salon. So I was really, really young when she opened up the salon. So then I end up, when she opened up the salon, of course my mom helped, we was helping hand, and we would go to the shop. I mean, I would spend all my time at the shop. So pretty much I've literally been in the shop my entire life. Like, I don't know nothing else but shop life. Right. Eat, sleep, breathe, shop. And so when I was a little girl, when I used to leave school, go straight to the shop, sweeping, shampoo girl, everything. I started really, really young. And then I started doing people hair, my friends' hair, people on the street hair. And that was I started doing my own hair early, like in elementary school. And then I started doing other people's hair in middle school, high school. And so after that, when I got in high school, I had said to myself, I was like, I felt like everybody was doing hair. It's kind of like everybody know how to do hair. So I was like, I want to be different. Mm-hmm. And so I decided, okay, after high school, I'm going to go to school for sports therapy. Mm-hmm. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And so I went to school And my professor said, write a 10-page paper on anything you want to write on.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose to write it on hair. I'm in college for sports therapy. And then
couldn't leave it, huh?
Yes.
Can't shake it.
So I'm like, you know what? This is not this. So I ended up dropping out, and I went to beauty school.
Mm. So I know you was doing hair at the salon for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what was did you see someone? What made you want to start cutting hair? Was there something that you seen on Instagram or someone you was following? Like, what made you really want to, like, you know what, I want to become a barber?
Yeah. So honestly, bro, when I was in a salon as a young girl, I used to always try to go in the back, because in the back it was a barber shop. And my mom, she was old school. So she was, nah, you come up here with the women. So I never got a chance to really like lock in and like watch the guys. I always had an eye for it, even young, but my mom was just old school. So she was just like, nah. Yeah. So I remember getting into my first shop, and I came across your Instagram.
My Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your Instagram. I came across your Instagram, and I'm just in the shop like, yo, like these crispy white lines, you know, I'm just like, I mean, the symmetry, just like everything, like how the technique, the fades, like everything. And I'm just like, I want to learn how to do this. So like, I just start like binge watching like your Instagram. I guess this is kind of like at the peak of Instagram too, when people started to make it like their business page. You know, at first it was just taking cute little pictures, but then it turned into like a business thing, you know. So I binge watched their page. I'm like, I want to learn like so bad. And so I remember that's when you ended up posting the class.
Yeah. That's interesting because like I remember following you on Instagram, right? But I don't. Did you showcase your work on Instagram? Like your hair?
I did.
Yeah, I just remember just showing like a lot of selfies or like pictures of you. You know what I'm saying? So I thought you was way older.
Yeah.
Right. And it's crazy. Right. You know, it's crazy how God works because I remember I was leaving. I had to go to the show. I was running a little late, and I remember I checked my Facebook. I think you reached out to me on Facebook or
Instagram.
It was Instagram. Okay. Yeah. I remember I checked my Instagram. You was like, are there any can we purchase tickets at the show? I was like, yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously the show was a success. And I just remember you had a friend with you, right? And you wrote up on me like, hey, you know, I would love to come, you know, just shadow you, bam, this and that. I like, you know, at that point I'm like, I just opened my shop. You know, I worked with women before. I love them to death, but I just like, I wanted to have just men at my barbershop, right? And you're like, yeah, I really want to learn, you know, shadow, whatever I got to do. You know, you seem very interested in barbering. So I like, you know what, come to the shop. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I never forget when you first came and you walked in. I think it was a shop full of people too. Everybody was working, I believe. And you just so locked in. I saw like, cause I was trying to, you know, I was want to see what your focus was, right? Did you really want to learn how to cut hair? Yeah. And I remember you was locked in with me for like that 3 hours, just like shadowing, asking questions. I'm like, man, she really wants it. Yeah, she's kind of serious, you know. And I remember I asked you like, so like, what do you plan? Do you plan on, you know, working somewhere else or how? You know, and you was like, you put the idea in my head. You was like, actually, I love to work here. Yeah. You know, I like here. You know what I mean? I like, you know what? I didn't think about it, but I do got a whole spot over there in the back that I could make a little, you know, have your own little space and everything. And so, I want to ask you, when I said like, hey, you know what, I want you to join the team. How did you feel about that when I told you like, I want to give you opportunity and teach you how to cut hair? Yeah. How did you feel about all that?
I was shocked because I knew you didn't want women in the shop. Right. So I was really, really shocked, and I was so happy, bro. Like it really like it just made me happy because it's like you didn't even know what type of space I was in, like in life, you know, like you didn't know how old I was, but still, even at a young age, you know, me and my mom was going through so much. Right. And so when you gave me that opportunity, I was just like, wow. But I remember looking, when I was sweeping the floors, you know, I would try to help out with the guys, and I remember sweeping the floors, and I looked around in their room, you talking about with the shampoo bowl. And I heard a voice say, "This is yours," and I was like, "Nah," because he told me he didn't want a women in the shop. So I'm like, "Who am I kidding? Right. No, this is not. It's just me." Yeah. And so I remember going home, and I had the dream of the number 7. And I was like, okay, this number 7, like, why I'm dreaming about this number 7? Yeah. And then when I ended up coming back, that's when you had you presented the opportunity,
Yeah,
and then it dawned on me I was the 7th person that you hired.
Right.
So it was like, but you know, it was so many things leading up to that moment, bro. It was just so much leading up to that moment, because I remember, like you said, when I DM'd you about buying the tickets and stuff, me and my mom, we were living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So we really didn't even have the funds for me to purchase a ticket or let alone gas money. So
right.
I remember I told my mom about the class.
Mm-hmm.
I showed her your work, and then my mom ended up running into two of the guys at Jimmy John's, I think.
Yeah.
And they gave her a brochure, and it's that Groom Theory just opened, and you know, there was networking, trying to get people to come in the shop.
Yeah.
So my mom, she was like, yeah, when I came home, she was like, yeah, it's this barbershop that just opened down the street from the house, literally like 2 minutes. And I'm like, I looked at the brochure, I'm like, Mom, that's what I was telling you about the whole time. And so, you know, I'm all geeky and stuff, and she's like, oh, this what you've been talking about? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, Mom, they got a class coming up. You know, I really want to go. I'm like, you know, but I know we not in the, like, there's extra money coming out the house. You know what I'm saying? My mom, she was working full time, and I'm chasing a dream. You know, I'm taking walk-ins. I'm trying to build my career. And my mom, she supported me in everything that I did. So she didn't want me to get a regular job because, you know, in this industry, it's a faith-based industry. If you don't sit there and, you know, try to wait for walk-ins, then you can't build your clientele if you're not there with a second job. So my mom was just like, no, you focus on this. And so in the midst of us doing that, it was kind of, everything in the house was tight, you know? So my mom was just like, you know what, baby, we gonna make a way. And so we did. And I found myself at the class, and then from there, I mean, it's history. But yeah, I remember like having that dream of that. And I'm like, when you presented it to me, I'm like, wow, I was just blown away, because it was just like, everything was just piecing together. Like, you know,
it's kind of crazy how God work, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
And you know the crazy thing is, I remember like when I like presented the opportunity, obviously you say yeah, and you had like a whole party. Do you remember that party you had?
I did.
And so
I did.
This is when I realized, this is like, you know, I'm over here like, hey, come to my party. There's a welcome party. Like it's like a
I had a cake.
Yeah, I had everything.
A Groom Theory cake.
I like what's going on. I was like, hold on, like this is for real. Like
it's a big opportunity.
Yeah, like she the family came out and everything. I'm like, damn, like and it's crazy because like my thoughts was like, she really want to join my team. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and honestly, I was like, man, I can't let her down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I want her family to be very proud of her. And that's what I like with you. Where I really, it's like my, you know, brand Groom Theory, how we built it up. And you're like, you're like the definition of Groom Theory, where you came in, you really didn't have any clients, but you came to work every day at 8 in the morning. You stayed till like 5, 6 at night. You acted like you was booked up every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a real big thing about manifestation. Because obviously I manifested Groom Theory, you know what I'm saying? So tell me your transition, like from being a hairstylist to growing your books, you know, to get booked up. How was it transition from being a stylist to a full-time barber while working at the shop? Yeah.
So like you said, bro, it was manifestation, honestly. Of course, I was still doing women's hair, you know, while I was learning, you know, and doing my hours under you. So, I mean, it got to the point where, you know, for a long time, I was scared to take haircuts. You know, the guys can take it. You know, I was kind of scared to really pick up them clippers, but I was just like, I just gotta go for it, you know. And so with me, like transitioning from doing women's hair to men's, I noticed like the more that I was, you know, picking up the clippers with with my guys, it was a smooth transition, because then once my guys start coming, then, you know, word of mouth, you know, that's still, you know, that's how I kind of built my clientele with that Instagram. But once the guys kept coming, they kind of bumped my ladies off my schedule, and they wasn't too happy about that. But yeah, like it was a smooth transition, but I literally was like focused on the craft. Like I knew with repetition, coming in early, like you said. And I remember standing at the front of the door at Groom Theory, and I was like, God, send me the right clients, like the right and divine clients. Like, and I just, from there, I remember even building up my books, I was still I was washing guys' hair until my clients picked up, you know. even just starting there, just washing men's hair, washing their beard. At that time, men wasn't really into getting their beard washed and stuff like that. So I had to get creative. You know what I'm saying? I had to try to figure out, okay, how can I, and so I literally went from like washing men's hair, then I threw the beard service in, and then I was like, oh, let me cut your hair. And so that's kind of like, for real, I think that it is deeper than just cutting, because then people start coming for like the experience, you know.
For sure.
And Groom Theory, I like to brag, but it was different. You come in, it was just different. And so after that, just my clientele just start picking up, and I remember even being not completely booked, and like you said, I start manifesting, like standing in front of the door. And another thing that I also did was, I really wasn't making that much money, but I remember going to the bank and depositing like my little $100-some that I made for the week. But I used to go to the bank, and I used to visualize myself depositing like thousands of dollars a week. And it said $100 on the bank statement, but in my mind, I'm like, this is $1,000. So I'm just like depositing this money, and I'm just like, God gonna make a way, because that's what my mom always taught me. And I remember getting weary, because it wasn't easy. It was not easy by far, building my clientele. And I remember going to apply for a job, like on lunch break. So I'm at the shop, but on lunch break, I'm like, man, I gotta find me something part-time, because at this time, me and my mom, we still, we still we living paycheck to paycheck. But I remember going to fill out an application. In mid-application, I literally heard a voice say, "You don't trust me, do you?" And I was like, looking around like, who said that? It was like clear as day, like, you don't trust me, do you? And I was like, man. So I just sat the application down and walked out. Literally, I walked out, and I went back to work, and I just sat there, and I'm like, because I was just getting weary. But it was like after that moment, then I just start rolling, and it just started taking off, and I just kept manifesting. And it didn't even just come with that. It came, like I always say, with Groom Theory. When I joined Groom Theory, it wasn't just about barbering. Like, other people literally saw my life shift, and they thought I joined a cult. They was like, this girl has joined a cult. What is going on? Just everything changed about me, from my style to just the way that I, carry myself, just everything. But it was just like a whole wheel. It was financially, spiritually, physically, because when I got to the shop, I was overweight also. And so once I start like checking all those things off, when I got to Groom Theory, it just worked itself all the way around the board. From weight falling off to me making more money to, me being consistent and just like focused. My drive was insane.
Absolutely. I never forget that, because when you first started, like you said it was overweight. I was overweight too. I know you remember our guy Jamar, and he's the one. I appreciate him, because he got me to realize, like, mind over matter. You know what I mean? Like, we started working out, man. I remember I told my own guy, when I started cutting his hair, he was like, man, you gotta wake up 5 a.m. That's the only time you got. I was like, 5 a.m? That's too early, Then I remember I started getting up. That's why I met, other friends, DP, Dave, and them, and we started working out. And I remember I hit you up, hey Jewel, you wanna join this little company and start working out? It's like, I'm down. My man gonna train you. Me and Jamar. I just remember, like, I just felt like Groom Theory was everything. Like, not just cutting hair, like you said, cutting hair. It was fitness. You know what I'm saying? It was a way of life for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like if you get your body, if you get your mind to do something, your body gonna follow. You know what I mean? And I'm very appreciative for Jamar for what he did for us during that time, because it was like you said, everybody thought it was like a cult. We were up at 3 in the morning working out. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. And it's crazy, because I remember you said that you were thinking about getting a job, right? And I posted a post earlier about how my father-in-law, when I first moved to St. Louis, he had a job for me, driving buses, $20 to something an hour. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was going to do it. Like, you know what? I could maybe, if I do it, I could build up part-time with the shop. At least I have some money coming in. But then I had, like I said, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I decided, like, I'm going to make this work. Some way, somehow, this is going to work, And just crazy how stuff works. I remember Miss Rachel, she had someone working in the shop literally, when I said that I was going to do it, he literally got fired, right? The other guy in the shop. And now it's just me and Rachel in there, and Ray. And so now I'm the only other barber. And so not only did I take his clients, it made room for new ones too.
Right.
Also now my money doubled. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because I decided, like, you know what, I'm not doing that, you know? And so that question, I want to kind of segue to, now you're in the shop, you're cutting, and I just want to give you an example. Like, I want to know when you felt like you was Miss Jewell, because I remember I felt like I belonged, not only in the city, but amongst the greats when I finished third at the Bronner Bros, right? Then when I got first, I felt like I was him, right?
Yeah.
So when was your moment when you feel like, yeah, I'm her? When you feel like you put everything together, you're like, yeah, Miss Jewell, I'm her.
Yeah. That's a tricky question, bro, because you know how I am. I'm just kind of like, even still today, I'm just kind of like.
So modest.
But honestly, when my books start filling up, and like I was booked out like weeks in advance, I was like, okay, like, and it blew my mind. I'm like, like this is the moment I've been waiting for. Like, I mean, I was booked out, and people was calling like, offering me extra double. Like, I need to get in the, get on your schedule, and I'm just like, I was just in awe, you know. I honestly, bro, I still don't even feel like I'm her though. Like, I feel like I have a lot to. I feel like I have still a ways to go. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's because I don't know. Maybe I am modest. I don't
you
know.
are. It's cool. It's cool. So So okay. So I remember like 10 years ago, I didn't know a lot of lady barbers. So what advice would you give to the up-and-coming lady barbers now that you wish you would have known when you first got started 9 years ago?
I mean, bro, I was blessed with the best mentor. I mean, you gave me the game. You gave me the blueprint.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to say, because I would just honestly just say just go for it. Just go for it and just lock all the way in. Like, get rid of all the distractions, because in this industry, I mean, you are a lady at the end of the day. So, I mean, people might come sit in your chair for the wrong reasons,
Right.
But just lock in and be about your business, be serious. And that's what I would just tell them, just go for it.
So, like, mentorship is a big thing.
Mentorship is everything. I tell people all the time, I was blessed to be able to sit on the shoulder of a giant, which is you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that opportunity don't come. I mean, nowadays, they gonna charge you like $5,000, $10,000, just to mentor you, and time is money. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, but that was a blessing. Like, to be able to be under, watch you and just learn just everything. You literally gave me the blueprint. And I would even say with that, for a young lady coming up, closed mouth don't get fed. Because had I never walked up to you and say, hey, I want to learn, you would never be here.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? True. All they can say is no.
Right. That's true.
All they can say is no. You ask, all they can say is no.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I remember 2018 when I told you guys I was opening up the second location, St. Charles. And we had a lot of women that wanted to join the team. Yeah. Pretty much based off you. They see what you did. They seen how you grew and elevated in industry from a stylist to a barber. And so I was like, you know what, Jewell? Pretty much we grew from the bottom up. So I put you in a position where I wanted you to start managing people. So how was it for you, like, managing other people and teaching other people, to learn how to cut hair, but at the same time got to be that voice as well? Was it hard for you, or would you done anything any differently?
It was very hard, bro.
Yeah.
It was very hard. I would have done a lot of things different.
Yeah.
I would say that you have to understand that everybody is not going to grind like you or,
Facts.
Be like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it was a learning experience, but overall, like, being out there, it taught me so much. It taught me so much. Oh my God, it taught me so much. Right. But I mean, I'm having a brain freeze.
No, it's cool.
No, because I'm going back and I'm just thinking about everything. Like,
yeah, because it was a lot going on. It was
it was a lot going on,
Yeah.
but it taught me a lot as far as like earlier when we saw the video, it was saying like treat your shop like it's your own.
Yeah.
And literally, like, that's how I feel. So not even just that, but I knew what Groom Theory stood for.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, if you coming through this door, we held to a higher standard.
Facts.
Like, we not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like we the top of the line. So we didn't come out here to play around. You know what I'm saying? And it was hard to like. And I was still the youngest. There's still people don't know my age, and I'm still the youngest, and you know, I'm in charge. Like, and so I'm just like, it really, Groom Theory is near and dear to my heart always.
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew we had a higher standard, and we had to carry ourselves, you know, even our services, just everything. And I just wanted to make sure that the brand was covered, you know. So, but if I could do things differently, I probably would have like more patience and just know that people aren't like me, not trying to say it in a boastful way, but you know, everybody's not the same, you know, and everybody's on their own journey.
Yeah, and
that too.
That's true. That's probably, honestly, that's probably one of the hardest things I had to learn as a business owner when I first opened up as well. It's just like, okay, everyone's not me, so I really have to move accordingly. Like I want to find out people's goals so I could push them to that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of be like, man, I be seeing a lot of potential people all the time. Like, man, he could be this, he could be that. Yeah. But I gotta understand everybody don't have that. You know, sometimes, like they said, it's in you. It ain't on you. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be in you. And one thing I always appreciate about you, like, you know me. You know I got like I got a soft spot. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All right. You was more like, hey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always have my blind side. Yeah. You know, and so I'm always appreciative. I'm gonna be forever thankful for that.
Likewise, bro.
Yeah, for sure. And so obviously 2021 or 2020, can't remember the exact date. I remember you told me that you expecting a child. Right? Oh yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I was so blown away. Like, what? For real? Get out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You had your baby girl in 2021. So how has motherhood formed you, and how has it kind of changed you in the barbering aspect as well by being a mother now? Yeah.
I would have to say motherhood and being in the barbering world, I had to, you know, like I said, I was always in the shop and eat, sleep, breathe barbering. But after I had my daughter, I had to find balance. I knew I couldn't like hustle like that, like how I used to. I had to be smart about like my business, you know, how I handle my business choices, because I still want to be able to be there, you know, for my baby. So it definitely taught me not only just being behind the chair, but just making sure I have other things, like other business ventures to behind the chair. That's the beauty about this industry. You can literally do anything in this industry. If you want to sell products while you're behind the chair, start your own brand, like you can do those things. But it definitely made me learn how to balance, because if, you know, before my baby, I just would just be in the shop. Like that was my baby. The shop was my baby. So, you know, I love that, you know, but it has slowed me down too. Like, cause I'm always just, you know, just go, you know, the shop like this, you know, everything shop. And so I had to find balance.
So, cause I know how I was when I first had my first child, and I was in a different position where I was building, you know what I'm saying? So the first few years, man, like I wasn't around for the big things. I was always trying to I was at the shop cutting. And that's one thing I appreciate what you're doing. Like, you spend a lot of time with your daughter. I know she's not no daycare and thing. Like, these first few years are so vital. You know what I'm saying? And so the older I got, now, you know, my kids are 12, 7, and 6. You know, I'm at the stage now where like I'm literally in it now. Like, like I'm that father. Like, I'm that guy. I'm the coach.
I love to see that, bro.
I'm at the conferences talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very involved, and that's one thing I love to see, that like you locked in with your child, because it's so important. Like, we get so caught up in like chasing the dollar, we fail to realize what's really important. You know what I'm saying? Like these memories, they come and go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to give you mad respect, man.
Thanks,
to you
bro.
to you and your significant other for
Thank you.
raising a dope little girl, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Same to you, bro.
For sure.
I can't wait to get those fun stages. Oh my goodness.
All right, it's funny, but it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
different. It is different. And so I want to move forward to, so 2021. Obviously, you had your baby. Then, literally like a few months later, your mother passed away. And I remember when I first met you, you was like, "Man, me and my mother, we a package deal." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've never seen someone like a mother, daughter, or father, son. I never seen someone so connected, so tight like that. How you and your mother was, you know what I'm saying? And like she was the type of person that comes in a room and just lights it up. I've never seen her mad. I know you've seen her mad, but I've never seen her mad. Always smiling, always showing love, always smelling good. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I just want to know how was it? Like, 'cause I know she the one that kind of, motivates you to cut hair, get into the shop, all that. So how was it, when she passed away? How did it affect you?
Oh man, my whole world was shaking up.
Yeah.
Literally, it felt like I went into a whole nother dimension.
Right, for real. Yeah.
It's like I had my daughter, and for one, I really, like I said, the shop was everything was my first child. So I had already told my mom, we had already had the conversation. I'm not having any kids, and I am not getting married. Right. Mom is not. I just can't see it. Like I loved my life. You know, I was just chilling. I'm on Fifth Street, looking over St. Charles. I'm just chilling, and so I had my daughter. And then my mom was so excited when I called her and told her that I was having a baby. She was so excited. I mean, I was scared to tell her, but she was so excited, and so I couldn't believe that had happened to me. And I'm like, how I'm having a baby? Me, Miss Jewell having a baby. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why am I?
Yeah.
But now it makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now. And so I had my daughter. And, my mom was there, and she held my hand, and I birthed my daughter. And then literally 8 weeks later, I had to hold my mom's hand until she took her last breath.
Yeah.
And, I mean, my whole world got shaken upside down because alongside of that, I was going through postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And my mom was helping me through that.
Yeah. So
just literally after my mom, I just went in shock for a really long time. It's like you in shock, but like the reality ain't really sitting in. It's like you in shock, but the reality, it takes a minute. Grief is crazy because it takes a minute for like the reality to sink in. You in shock, but it's like when you can't pick up the phone and call them, or, I have my baby and something's wrong with my baby and I can't call my mom. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and that was pretty much all I had.
Yeah.
It was literally just me and her my entire life. I'm the only child.
Yeah.
My dad was in and out of my life, so it literally just always been me and my mom. And so she was not just my mom, but she was my sister. She was my best friend. She was I wanted to be my mom. She was my role model.
Right.
She was literally everything you could imagine, and so we just had like a special bond. And so when she transitioned, it just felt like a part of me just left.
Yeah.
And I just went into a really, really, really dark place. It's just so crazy, like how connected we was. I literally remember I had a dream. And in my dream, I was holding an obituary, and it was blurred. The face was blurred out, but I could tell it was a heavyset woman. But of course, I wouldn't have thought it was my mom, So I remember having a dream, and I was holding the obituary, but the face was blurred out. And I remember calling my mom, and I said, "Mom," because she knew I've been gifted since I was a really young girl. God will always, give me dreams, or I can hear, he'll talk to me and stuff. And so I said, "Mom, I had a dream." I said, "I was holding an obituary, and the face was blurred out. I said, but I could see the body shape. I said, it was a heavy-set woman. I said, but I don't know. I was like, that was just weird. And so she was like, it's okay. She was like, baby, you know, sometimes when you dream of a woman, it could be a man. She was like, you know how your dreams are?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, you know, just pray about it. Just ask God to give them grace.
Right.
And so I was like, you're right, Mom. So, you know, go on. Time goes by. And I remember I was asleep and this really cold wind came in my house.
Yeah.
Should I get that deep?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay,
We're here.
Okay, because I get okay.
Right.
So I remember just this cold wind came through my house.
Yeah.
And granted, it really wasn't that cold outside. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a little chilly, but it was like a super cold wind that I can't even explain, bro. Came through my house. And I remember laying down and I was shivering.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is it so cold in my house? You know, I'm turning up the heat, blasting the
Right.
heat. And then I'm waking up in sweat. I'm just
Right.
like, what is this? And so
Right.
it happened 2 days in a row. And honestly, I think it was all connected from my dream to like just experiencing something so cold like
Yeah.
that. And then all of a sudden my mom gets sick.
Yeah.
And so she gets COVID and she gets diagnosed with COVID, and the whole time she thought she just had like sinus or her asthma.
Right.
And so I remember saying, Mom, you know, just to be on the safe side, you know, before you come over and see the baby, I was like, just go get tested, you know.
Yeah.
And this was the peak of COVID,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
when COVID was serious, it was real, you know, the news and people was like, hundreds of people was laid out, you know, on the news. It was
Yeah.
just really scary and devastating. It still was the peak.
Right.
And she went and got tested, and she called me. She said, I got COVID. And so I was like, you know, I was scared, but I'm just like, but she sounds okay.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, she's fine. She sounds okay. Like, you know, she doesn't sound like nothing's wrong. It's just, you know, she was saying her breathing. And so
Yeah.
I remember she came over and got the breathing treatment because we both have asthma. And so I gave her the breathing treatment, and she went home, and I would just check on her. We would FaceTime all day, every day, like how we always did.
Yeah,
you know, me and my mom, we talk 15, 20, 30 times a day,
Right.
just on a regular. That's probably minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And so she looked fine, you know, and she would text me, hey, baby, like, I'm okay, you know, I'm just in the bed binge watching TV.
Right.
And so it went from she was just fine to extremely worse. And I was just like, you were just fine. Like,
what's going
so,
on?
like, what's going on? You know, and she was just like, I can't breathe. Like, my breathing, it just took a turn. And so I'm literally, like, sitting in my bed, and I told, you know, my partner, I'm like, hey, I got to take my mom to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, it was like, it was really scary because I'm a new mom. My baby is like 6 weeks old.
Right.
And my mom is all I know. And so it's like, it almost felt like I had to choose a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, do I get in a car with my mom who has COVID and drive her to the hospital?
Yeah.
Or do I just trail her? You know what I'm saying? Like, be in my car and trail her, but really deep down, I wanted to just jump in the car and just take my mom.
Right.
She didn't want me to call the ambulance or anything, so she didn't let me call the ambulance. And so I seen my mom. It took her a long time to come down the stairs.
Yeah.
And when she finally came outside, I saw the way she slumped in the car.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I told him, you know, something's not right. And so she drove. I'm like, kept battling with it. Like, should I jump in the car with her, or do I need to stay here? You know, my baby needs me.
Right.
But I want my mama.
Right,
you know,
right.
and so it was a tough situation to be in, because I could have just jumped in the car and drove my mom, but I also could have got myself in jeopardy too, because it was the peak again. And so we went to the hospital, and I remember she couldn't get out the car.
Mm-hmm.
So we trailed her all the way to the hospital, but she couldn't get out the car. And so I literally saw some paramedics that had just pulled up. And I was like, I got out the car. And I called my mom first. And I said, Mom, are you going to get out the car? And she said, just give me a second. She said, I need to catch my breath. I said, Mom, you sure you okay? And she was like, yeah, baby, I just got to catch my breath for a second. So I said, no. So I went and got the paramedics that had just pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, my mom is in the car. She has COVID. I said, but she needs to get in the hospital, like, as soon as possible. And so the guys, they masked up. They was like, okay, we finna go get her out of the car. And I remember them wheeling the wheelchair to go get her out of her car.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still in the car. I can't touch her because she has COVID. And so I remember sitting in the back seat with my daughter, and my partner had parked the car backwards.
Yeah.
And I remember I could see her in the rearview mirror, and I remember I could see her in the side mirror, and I saw them wheel her in the hospital, and literally I just sat in the back seat and just looked in the mirror, and I just bawled.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I felt like I started grieving as soon as my mom got sick.
Yeah, you just felt like something was going.
It was wrong.
Yeah.
I just felt like something was wrong.
Yeah.
And so she checked in the hospital, and she literally was in there. I couldn't see my mom for 10 days. So that was, I've never not seen my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom went from one machine to another machine to another machine. She went through like 4 machines until she got sedated. And I remember FaceTiming her, and she, "Oh, I'm okay, baby." They gave me this machine, and then the next time, "Oh, I'm okay, baby. They gave me this machine. It's a little bit harder than this one." And I'm okay, baby. And it just kept going until I could finally see her.
Yeah.
So I can finally see her now. She's not contagious anymore.
Right.
And so I finally get up to the hospital, and I stormed in there. And when I see my mom, I'm like, she's like in the worst shape. And I'm just like, and I knew something was wrong because my mom stopped answering my calls, stopped answering my texts. I just remember the last message she sent me was, tell my nurse I'm going on a machine. She texted me and said, call my nurse and tell her I'm going on the machine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was like, I can't take it no more. She said, I can't breathe. She said, so tell her I'm finna go on the machine. And I said, Mom, this is not a good idea. I'm like battling with her about it. So when I shot up to the hospital, that's when I was able to see her. And granted, she really couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And so she just was like, I said, Mom, you sure you want to go on the machine? And she looked at me and she said, listen, I can't breathe. You want me to sit here and not breathe? Because she was irritated at that time. She was like, you want me to sit here and not breathe? Or do you want me to go on the machine just for a few hours and get better? And I said, of course, Mom, I want you to get better. Yeah. And she looked at me and she said, baby, I'm not going nowhere. She said, the devil couldn't get me when I was in the streets.
Yeah.
He can't take me out now. She said, I'm 47.
Right.
I got more life to live. She said, the doctor said that I'm okay. She said, so I just need to go on this machine for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so she literally went on the machine. I remember them wheeling her out. And that was like the last time I see my mom up and alive and just moving. Yeah, but even she was scared even then, but she was still trying to encourage me, even in the midst of her being scared, And so I just would never forget that look of, I've never seen my mom scared, never, ever, my entire life.
But that day you did, though?
That day, my mom was scared, but she was still like, I need to be strong for my daughter.
Yeah, she wanted you to stay encouraged.
Yeah, she wanted me to stay encouraged. And so from there, bro, it was just, my mom was literally in the hospital for almost a month. She was sedated for a week or so.
Yeah. And
I remember just going just seeing her like that for 7 days straight did something to me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting there staring at my mom just laid like that, and everything just happening so fast, and I still got a newborn at home that I have to go home and breastfeed, and then come back to the hospital and be sitting here for hours just watching over my mom, making sure nobody's mistreating her while she's sedated, just everything, and so it was a lot. And like I said, I started grieving while my mom was sick, because I just never had been in that situation before.
No, I get it. I was like, I remember when you told me your mother passed away, right? And I called my dad, hey, Jewel, Mom just passed away, Dad. He and my dad was like, really? Oh, I'm about to get a ticket and come down there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, for real? Yeah, that's my baby. That's my baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember my dad came down there, and one of the things I remember you was like, cause I think I would stay for the wake. I know my dad stayed for the whole funeral. Yeah. And he was like, I remember you told me that your dad was there to help you just walk you around. I don't know. I know he was around you for a majority of the time during the funeral, after the funeral, right, or something.
Who was that?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah. Didn't he help out a little bit?
Yeah, he was there. He gave me the biggest hug.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I just feel like how like, people come in your life for, like, obviously reasons, seasons, lifetime. Like, we're connected some way, somehow. Sometimes you don't know what it is, but we connected from. But it's just ironic that, your mother passed away in May, right?
Yep.
And then my dad passed away 7 months later in January. And it was like, damn. Like, and I just remember when I got the news, my brother called me. I was just leaving Five Below with my girls. And, man, your dad just passed away. I'm like, what? This is a joke? I'm thinking it's a joke. I literally was just talking to my dad a few days before, like, how you planning on taking a trip down here, see the house, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember I got in the car, I started bawling, right? And, like, I'm trying to drive home, and I got in an accident. I wasn't paying attention. Got my kids in the car. I rammed somebody in the back, right? And I'm like, damn. So for a long time, I couldn't even go to Five Below for a while, you know what I'm saying? And people don't understand, like, depression, like, I call it 3 Ds, disaster, disease, and
Divorce.
Divorce, there we go. Oh, you already know. You're right.
No, because I remember you mentioned that, because I remember you calling me trying to help me.
Yeah,
and you mentioned that.
And as a business owner, as a creator, as a father, husband, all that stuff, right? I was depressed for like the whole year, like whole year and a half for real, like, you know what I'm saying? And not realizing, because you going through something and you realize, like, I don't want to do this anymore, because obviously, just like how your mother kind of pushed you to cut it, get into barbering and doing hair. My dad gave me the confidence to be a barber, that I think you'd be great at it, and that's all I need to really hear, And so when he wasn't, and he was like one of my biggest supporters, so like every time I post, he's always posting like, I see you, son, my son, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it was kind of tough for me, man. Like, it's tough because I didn't realize I was depressed until you kind of start getting out of it a little bit. Like, damn, I was really depressed because I stopped doing things that I loved.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things for me, like, we could take all the therapy, obviously got therapists, we talk, grief counsel, all whatever, the whole nine. But I realized what helped me get out of my funk was literally creating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As being a creator, like, I find peace in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that now, like, okay, let me get my regimen back. Let me get back to creating content to inspire, to motivate, just to keep on. That's going to heal me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And one of the things I did was, for my dad, I went back and started giving back to the jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was
That's
one of
so
my
dope,
things.
bro.
I appreciate it. And that was one of the things that kind of like began to get me out my funk. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to ask you, so obviously 2 years later,
I know.
you kind of retired, you came back 2 years later. I want you to tell everybody how hard it is, like, dealing with grief. Obviously you have multiple businesses now. You do more than just cutting hair, but tell them how hard it is and what to do next. Like, trauma is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What can people who's dealing with the same thing you're dealing with, if you could tell them something about grieving, like, what would you tell them to help them out in the process of grieving, so to speak?
I feel like I'm still in it. Like, it's like, but like you said, like, creating, like you said, I have other businesses. And so that's literally how I've been, I'll say, kind of like, getting by. I thought, honestly, bro, like, in a sense, though, I thought staying busy was going to help me.
Yeah.
But I would tell anybody, like, sit in it. Like, you have to just go through with it, because if you stay busy, then it just all hits you at one time, just randomly.
When you say that, you mean like stay busy? I mean, so you mean like just sit down and just like sometimes be in silence type thing, or just not try to do too many things at one time?
So since my mom been gone, I never like really sat down.
Yeah.
Like, I will always, if I'm not cleaning, I'm cooking, if I'm not doing that, I'm folding. I'm just literally trying to make my brain just stay doing something. And then, like, it could be that one thing that just ticked me off, and then my world come crumbling down. I'm crying about my mom.
Yeah.
So it's like, one thing I could tell a person is, don't, like, if you feel sad, and then feel the way that you feel, don't try to run away from it. Don't try to stay busy, because I learned that staying busy is really not helping.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like you running away from it. And so that's what I'm learning. Like these past years, I've just been trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
And when I'm working out and I'm not like busy, but I'm working out, then I can't get through my workout. Cause now I'm like I'm walking and my mind is not really doing much. And I'm just walking and now I can't even finish my workout cause I'm crying, you know? So it's just kind of like, I would tell anybody, like, take time to, like, just sitting in it. Staying busy is not going to help.
Yeah.
It's really not. And grief they have, like, this little circle of grief and how grief, the cycle, and don't go in that cycle at all.
Yeah.
You know, I could literally be smiling, then I just start crying. Then it's just kind of like I could hear a noise or a smell, then I'm bawling.
Yeah.
And I would just tell a person, just go through with it, you know, like, and honestly, bro, that is part of the reason why I stepped away from my chair.
Yeah.
I was running away from pulling up to the shop and my mom's not there.
Right.
You know, my mom was at the shop every day.
Yeah.
Every day my mom was at the shop.
Every morning, right?
Every morning. Every Saturday.
Man.
She was helping me. She was always there. And so pulling up to the shop and she wasn't there, it did something to me. It tore me up.
Yeah.
Because like I could literally imagine her red car sitting in that parking spot, that same parking spot, or sitting in front of the shop. I could see her going next door to Pizza Hut or Family Dollar or Rulers, doing her little runs, you know, and I could literally just visualize just everything. And so when I got back to the shop and my mom's not there and I'm just sitting here like in a daze, you know, and I'm not giving my clients is not really experiencing who I was. They getting another
version of you.
Jewel.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to step away because it's not fair to my clients, you know. It's not fair what I'm going through, but it's not fair to my clients because I'm not giving them my all. I'm just kind of here. I'm just cutting. Like I'm just not here. I'm here, but I'm not here.
Right.
And so I just said, I got to step away. Like it was tearing me up. You know, I'm not seeing my mom, and then I'm not being able to give my clients the best of me. So I was like, I need some more time. Because I tried to come back, you know. I came back probably like 3 or 4 months after my mom. Yeah. And I tried to come back, and then
it was just tough.
I was just like, hey, bro, I'm gonna have to take a break. Like, I'm gonna be back.
Right. Gotta take a leave of absence.
But that 6 months turned into a year, and that year turned into I'm just like, and I remember just like being in my room, and I just told my mom, I said, you know, you called me and you was just like, Jewel, like, you know, like it's, you know, when you took your trip and then you came back and you dropped gems on me, and just how it went and just how people, you know, were just so inspired by Groom Theory. And, you know, you just don't know, bro. But I probably thought about that like every day ever since you said, you know, you had told me that. But it was like, what's that cartoon, like the Bambi, the deer, like they get up, the deer that get up and then just be falling. Is it Bambi?
Is it Bambi? That's the only thing I know about a deer.
Bambi?
I think so.
I don't know. But anyways.
Kind of clumsy and kept him getting up.
And I felt like that was me.
Yeah.
I would get up and then I would fall back down. And I would get up and I would fall back down. And then, but the holidays was tearing me up. It was just like the anniversaries, the holidays, just every time I got up and I was like, I can do this. Like, I'm going to try to, then I would fall back down. And then, you know, life was just lifing. And then and I would just fall back down every single time. And I'm like, man, like, and just being depressed, like, it was just crazy. You know, I had memory loss and, you know, staring at TVs and not really watching TV and just out of it. Like, I was like, I was a zombie. And then, like, you know, going to the doctor and they'd be like, you know, grief only supposed to last for 6 months, and then diagnosing you with long-term grief or some type of name that they have out there for people who grieve longer than 6 months. They try to diagnose you with that, and then it was just so much. But I remember just like asking my mom, like, listen, Mom, you know, because at this point I'm also, you know, I'm also gaining weight, you know, from, you know, just not sleeping. People don't understand that sleep is important. Yeah, you know, and that contributed to my memory loss for a while because I wasn't sleeping. And then I just asked my mom, like, send me a sign that Mama, like, I can't. I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah. And I literally heard a voice say, if you don't go back to work, you're going to get sick. Like, literally. Like, if you don't go back to work, you're going to get sick in this house.
Yeah.
I literally ain't been out my house. I probably could count how many times I've been out of my house in 2 years.
Right.
And people don't know that depression looks like this. Like,
Right.
I'm happy. Like,
Right.
you know, but then when I go back home,
It's like,
I'm on the floor.
Yeah.
And my daughter is like, here, mommy, with the wipes, wiping my face.
Right.
She takes care of me because
Right.
I have days where I can't get out the bed and she's like, mommy, you sad? You sad?
Right.
You know, she's wiping my face and she's bringing me my mom's picture. She's 2 and she already understands what I'm going through, you know, and I know she's watching me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing too, like my daughter's watching me, you know, but it's the circle of life. So I know it's going to happen to me one day, and then that gives me anxiety.
Yeah, because like, you just hope, you know what I'm saying, they don't feel that same type of pain you went through.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and it all just contributed just to my depression.
Yeah.
And so I said, Mom, please give me a sign, like it's time for me to go back to work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sit in this house and get sick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel my body. You know, I'm gaining weight. I feel my body breaking down. My mind is not as sharp as it used to be, you know, because you know, I'm depressed. I'm in the house, you know, and my partner is just watching me. He's steady motivating me. He's not giving up on me. He's like, I know my Jewel's gonna come back around, and I'm so grateful for him because I wouldn't have been able to get through this without him.
For sure, man.
You know, God blessed me with him and Ava before my mom. Granted, I didn't want kids or get married. And God blessed me with the both of them because he knew he was gonna take my mom. And so he blessed me with my family, and I'm forever grateful for that. Gratitude helps me feel better. Just being grateful and counting my blessings, you know. But my mom it felt like literally, bro, when I told my mom, send me a sign, it's time for me to go back to the shop, it literally felt like she came in my room and picked me up by my arms and got me dressed. Like, you're going back to the shop. That's literally how it felt. Like, somebody just was like, no, put your clothes on, you go back to the shop.
Right.
You know, I went on Amazon, start ordering my stuff. You know, I'm just like, I'm finna go back to the shop. Like, I don't want to get sick. I got my daughter, you know, my partner is depending on me. Like, I have to get back. I'm like, Mom, and I knew that's what she would want.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I knew she would have wanted me to stay at the shop and not left, but you know, I had to try to pull myself together. You know, and I know it's part of my story.
Yeah, you got an unbelievable story, actually. You know,
and it's just the short version.
Right.
You know, so I know, and it's so crazy because I said to myself, I was like, you should write a book. But then I heard a voice say, I'm not finished.
Yeah, you got a lot. And it's kind of crazy. I remember, even during the season, I remember you told me he was coming back. You know what I'm saying? When you told me he was coming back, I'm like, what? For real? My sister coming back?
I don't think you believe me, though.
I didn't. Like, you coming back? For real? Yeah, bro, I'm coming. I'm like, dang. So it was one of them things, like, it was a shift for me, too, because I know I got someone I could depend on for sure. You know what I'm saying? Always, like, who could run my spot like it's her own, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's dope, man. It's like, okay, I got a new spice now. So I got something. I feel a new kick. You know, I'm not easily bothered anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Look, these are her problems now. I already know.
You know what I mean? So, cause I remember you hit me up the other day, like around like 7 o'clock. You had got to the shop, and I don't know. Cause I know back in the day, you used to come to the shop earlier than usual. If you pull me at 9, you used to be there early. So, are you doing the same regimen? You get there early, like a couple hours early before you even start, or is it meditation, is prayer time during that time when you come back? Okay, that's why I felt that.
So of course, you know, my schedule during the week, but on Saturdays, it's part of, you know, how I get to the shop early, but also part of my healing. Me getting there early, I'm just like, okay, I can't run away from my mom not being here. I have to sit in it. So I literally get to the shop early, and I'm just like talking to my mom, like as if she still was pulled up, you know, what's up, you know, like, and I just know that, like I said, it's part of my healing and me getting better. I can't run from it anymore. And so I get in the shop, I stand in front of the door, send me the right divine clients, you know. It feels like I'm going back to square one because I told you in the beginning when I first got to Groom Theory, that circle, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, the whole circle. And now I'm back to where I started. So now it's part of my healing, you know, I'm going to drop this weight off, you know, just going back through that whole circle, like from when I first started.
Yeah. Getting your regimen back.
Getting my regimen back,
It's ironic because, like, usually on weekends, man, I do not have my phone. Like, my kids take my phone, Snapchat, and all kind of. It's so ironic. That's probably the fastest I text you back in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at my phone. Hey, bro, what's the pad over here? And I was like, oh, right here. And then when you text me, I text you, like, cool. I'm like, it's 7 o'clock. I'm out there seeing a schedule. You start like at 9 or 10 or something. I'm like, that's cool. She's going back to her. I remember that's the first thing that came to mind. I remember she's go to shop early. Yeah. And stuff like that. That helps me out too. Like, what is my regimen? What I usually do. I get up in the morning. I work out. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because when I used to go to the gym all the time, I used to always call my dad in the morning. Like, that'd be like 15 minutes. We talk on the phone real quick before I work out, you know? And so now I be working at the crib. And so it's weird because, like, I do both. Now I go to the shop. I go to the gym, and I still work out at home, my gym. But every time I get in the car, though, in the morning, I always, like, be talking to my dad. That's still my time, though. So I get it, man. It's part of the healing process. And
it is. And
it's beautiful, too, because I know my kids, especially little Haven, she be, like, really, Dad, where you at? Dad, she's following me everywhere. I'm like, why is she so following me? Like, usually be, but during the holidays, I realize, you know, I think they be sensing stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know, and so I'm grateful for that.
The kids are connected, man.
They are, man. It's just crazy. Like, all three of them, they have their different, you know. So to end with, I know you probably get this a lot, but I gotta ask you, what's next for Miss Jewell? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you see yourself? Obviously, you came back to the barbershop cutting, and I know you're becoming a serial entrepreneur. What's next up for you?
Yeah, well, if I could have it my way, I'll open my print shop right next door to the shop.
right. For sure.
But I have my my print shop where I do like custom designs and printing. My godparents passed me down their business when they moved to Atlanta, so they have a print shop where they do custom orders for companies, contracts and stuff like that. Bro, honestly, I'm Groom Theory. Whatever Groom Theory got going on.
What we got going on?
Till the wheels fall off.
Right.
I meant that when I said that back in 2015.
Right.
So whether that's podcasting or, more educating. Honestly, just catching up with my first baby, which is Groom Theory St. Charles. Just trying to see how I can help my peers in the shop, get them, going any way I can. Just,
Absolutely. I think it's dope too because, like, I think we're both in a season where we're taking our time. We're not working too hard. We're just because we still got kids. You know what I'm saying? And I think this podcast is a dope thing for us. You know what I mean? Because we'll be able to touch a lot of people. You know what I mean? And just by literally posting, I've been posting little clips and just how people been hitting me up. I'm like, this might be it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely excited for what we got going on. This, I like the fact this is our kind of introduction. And we still don't know what we're going to do yet. But we're going to do something. We're going to keep it popping. That's so important. Like I told people before, man, just don't quit. Just keep on growing and keep on grinding until you figure it out. That's the same thing I did. My first barbershop, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I was going to open a barbershop. And people want to come work with me, cool. It is what it is. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm about to do it. You know what I mean? So this is the same baby. The cool thing is, we went through it before. We're going to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure, bro.
With that being said, this is the first episode. Like I said, this is my girl, Miss Jewell.
Thanks,
Haven.
bro.
Appreciate you, Jewell, for coming through.
Thank
Always,
you.
sis. Till next time.
Yeah.
One love.
The Groom Theory Way. The Groom Theory Way.